Hey, what's up, guys? So I thought I'd bring back an older series that I have done in the past, where I talk about all the movies that I watched in the previous month. Now, this is fun because I can actually kind of just round up everything and give out quick recommendations. Only this time, I'm also going to show you the actual ratings I give to these films. I normally don't like to rate movies. Um, in the past, I've only ever rated anything on Netflix, back even when they had the DVD service, which they still do. But so I'm very used to like a 5-star rating system. So I've actually found a website called Movie Lens, which allows you to do something like that and also provide good suggestions. I highly recommend it. It's not commercial whatsoever, and it's all just completely user based. So yeah, how about we go ahead and get started? And yeah, let's talk about some movies. Okay, so first up we have Logan. This film was a breath of fresh air for me. I had never really been that into the X-Men films. There aren't many that I've actually seen, and I decided to skip right ahead to this one as far as the other Wolverine films that are out there. And this movie just blew all my expectations. I had heard really good things about it, but I also heard some people that weren't that into it. Um, yes. Oh man, it's a very action-packed, fun movie, um, but it's also very emotional. It has a lot of emotional depth to it. I highly recommend checking this out, even if you've never seen an X-Men movie or know pretty much anything about Wolverine. It has something about it that just feels very real. Kind of reminds me of Joker in a way because it feels like a movie that's grounded in reality, yet centered in a comic book story or comic book character at least. So yes, definitely watch Logan. Oh, of course we have Casablanca, the classic. This film I've only seen, I want to say, once before, so I saw this again, and it is definitely a movie that I'd like to own someday. It's just a classic. If you've never seen Casablanca, you absolutely need to check it out. Humphrey Bogart, always admired his acting abilities, and I really love that sort of noir feeling of these older films. Um, this one stuck with me more than it did before. I like it even more than I have in the past. It's just one of those movies you absolutely have to see one day. Casablanca. The Trial of the Chicago 7. Now, before I talk about this one, I do want to mention my rating system a little bit here, I guess. So I look at each star rating as out of 10 as well. So like, but I rate things, my scale is more like how much I liked it, how much I really liked it, or if I loved it. So if it has a 3.5, that always means that I did enjoy it, I liked it, I would probably see it again someday. But I didn't like really like it to the point where I might really want to own it. 4 stars would mean I thought it's a great film, and I might pick it up. And then 4.5 is I loved it for sure. 5 is like the penultimate. There's only like 10 to 15 movies on my list that have a full 5 stars. So the Trial of the Chicago 7. This film was really interesting. I knew nothing about the real life case. I thought it was really fascinating, definitely resonant with what we've experienced these past month or so. So I think the performances are great. This one definitely could win a few Academy Awards or Golden Globes. So definitely one to check out. It's on Netflix. The Lobster. Now this is a very interesting film. It's from Yorgos Lanthimos, who did The Favorite as well as The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I just love how weird this film was, and I just really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I was really tired when I saw it, so I think I missed part of it, but that just gave me even more incentive to check it out again. It's just one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen, but I thought it was really well acted and just a very fascinating concept. Definitely check out The Lobster if you're into kind of offbeat comedies. And I guess there is some drama in there too. First Cow. Here's another movie that's getting a lot of attention this award season. I thought it was really interesting. Great cinematography, production design. I think I love the 4:3 aspect ratio, the old look to it. I really liked the setup, and I think the payoff was good as well. It's a very slow movie. It's very slow burn, slow paced, but very well acted, really interesting. If you haven't seen First Cow, I think, it's one to give a shot. A24 did this one, just like The Lobster. Love and Monsters. This was a very fun film. Dylan O'Brien's in it, and it's kind of like a little bit of a twist on the apocalyptic setting, where this guy is trapped in a bunker because everything outside is full of monsters and scary stuff. But he decides one day to leave his colony and venture out and try to find his ex-girlfriend, and meets a lot of interesting people and animals along the way, and a lot of exciting stuff happens. It's surprisingly has some good emotional depth. I thought it was well acted, really funny, and definitely a good time. This one is on 4K. Highly recommend checking it out. Lupin III, the First. This is a 3D CG animated film. It's if you've never seen the Lupin III anime films in the past, it's their first one in this format. I thought it was really well done. I will say I started off watching the dub, and about halfway through I noticed the lip syncing was kind of bothering me, because it felt like you were watching an actual live action dub, and this didn't match. So I switched to the Japanese, and I liked it much more from that point on. Definitely a really fun film, kind of silly, lots of good action, fast-paced. If you've never seen Lupin movies, these are all, heist and fun adventures and things like that. Oh, yes, the classic Citizen Kane. I watched this. This is the second time I've seen it, I believe, and I watched it to get ready for Mank. I still don't like it as much as, everyone says I should, as far as what the critics say about it, but it's definitely a great film. Definitely one of the best films that's ever been made in terms for what it could do at that time, and yeah, if you haven't seen Citizen Kane, that's a must watch. It's yeah, if you call yourself a cinema person, movie fan, definitely at least have to watch Citizen Kane once in your life. So yeah, and then of course Mank. Didn't like it as much as Citizen Kane, surprise, surprise, but thought it was very well acted. Loved the production design. I loved the look of it. I just think the story it wasn't that interesting, and at some points it was a little boring because it's fairly long. But I did think the performances were great. The script, Gary Oldman, I think it's definitely worth seeing. A very interesting film, and it's a very interesting person to highlight if you don't know the history behind Citizen Kane. Dredd, oh man. So I finally watched Dredd, and I liked it way more than I expected to. It was a lot of fun, even funny, a lot of good dark humor in there, lots of great action. It just, I don't know, something about the poster or something about it just never really intrigued me for a long time, and now I totally understand why people like this film, and it's now garnered a cult status since coming out on home video. Definitely check out Dredd if you've ever been on the fence about seeing it. Yeah, it's a good time for sure. Oh man, another round. So this is one of those foreign language international films that's getting a lot of buzz this year. This was a great time. Mads Mikkelsen stars. It's about a group of friends who are all teachers, and they're kind of at a rough point in their lives where just not, they're kind of going just through a midlife crisis, and they decide to all start drinking to get around a 0.5% blood alcohol content level, because supposedly there's a theory that someone discussed that it could increase their happiness and overall satisfaction in life. So they go on this very fun little experiment, and there's a lot of great comedy, but then there's some emotional beats in there too. Very well done film. I think it has a shot at winning some of these big awards, but it's going to have some good competition, so definitely check this one out when you get a chance. It's available on VOD and will eventually be out on Blu-ray. Oh boy, Wonder Woman 1984. This film disappointed me. I enjoyed it, but it was just way too long, and yeah, I think there could have been a lot taken out of it, and a lot of things they could have done to make it better, but it was a good time. I wouldn't see it again, I don't think, but it was nice to be able to catch it on HBO Max. I had already had a subscription to that, so I didn't have to pay for it. But you know, if you haven't seen this one yet on the fence, definitely give it a chance, see what you think. I know some people really like it, but there's a lot of people out there like myself who are very disappointed, so that's all I gotta say about that. Sound of Metal, another award contender. Now, I gave this 4 stars. If I could go back, I'd probably switch that to 4.5. I've been thinking about this film a lot. It's got great performances. Riz Ahmed, I think he has a very high chance at winning a lot of Best Actor awards. I also loved Olivia Cooke. I wanted to see more from her. The story, everything it did to highlight the deaf community, the sound mixing. If this film doesn't win Best Sound or Sound Mixing, Editing, I don't know what to say. It was incredible. This film also looked great. It has a great color palette. So definitely check this one out if you haven't already on Amazon Prime. It is, I wouldn't say tough to watch, so to say, but it can be, yeah, I guess it could be a little tough to watch, but it's not something that you have to look away. It's just the subject matter itself, because it's dealing with someone who all of a sudden loses their hearing, and you know, essentially all the stages they go through to try to get it back. Oh boy. Bacurau. This was a foreign film that I had heard about, and I knew nothing about this film going into it, so I was very surprised. It's what you would call a weird Western. That's actually a term, look it up. Very interesting. It's about this fictional place called Bacurau, but it's in maybe Brazil. But this was a very fun film, very interesting. Has a lot of twists and turns. Like, it's one of those movies you think you know what kind of movie it is as you're watching it, but then it kind of completely flips its head in terms of the genre, in a way. But yeah, it's some dark humor. Just a really fascinating film. Yeah, I would check this one out when you guys get a chance. I know it's available on Prime and Blu-ray. And Instant Family. Now, this is a movie that I went into thinking I knew exactly what kind of movie this was going to be, and it was just going to, I don't know, I wasn't sure how much I'd like it, but I actually really enjoyed this film. I liked how it highlighted what life is like for parents that are adopting, and just the way they presented it in this film, because it's about 2 people that just didn't ever want to have kids, but then they finally decide that they do, but they wanted to adopt. And I thought all the performances were great. It's really funny. There are some good emotional beats too. Yeah, this one it surprised me. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. So yeah, I'd say if you've ever been on the fence about this one, definitely check it out. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. This is a Guy Ritchie film. I've started to finally get into more Guy Ritchie, and I enjoyed this film. I will say, I guess something about Guy Ritchie's style is not, I don't love it as much as most people perhaps, but I really enjoyed the performances. It was a really funny film. Maybe it's because I'm not that into like spy movies for whatever reason. But I thought everyone was great, and it was interesting. It's one that I would definitely see again, and I'm very intrigued to see a lot of Guy Ritchie films. I've only seen this, and I believe The Gentleman, so you know I have quite a few more to check out there. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This was a great film. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised how much I liked it. I actually liked that it was very short. And one thing I thought was really cool was that it was based off a play, which is based off a real person, Ma Rainey. So I like how I was told this is a gorgeous looking film. Great production design, colors, performances. Viola Davis, Chadwick Boseman. Man, they were great. I definitely think this one is worth checking out on Netflix. It's just a really interesting film. It has a lot to say, especially I love the themes about, you know, what life was like at the time for black artists that were having difficulty showing how talented they were, but being able to get exactly what they want. Ma Rainey was a very interesting person in that she always pushed to get exactly what she wanted, and I like how they portrayed that in the film. So definitely check this one out. Pieces of a Woman. This is a good film, but it's just really hard to watch. Great performances. I think I gave it a 3 only because I can't see myself wanting to see it again. It doesn't have a lot of replay value for me, and but you know, for people that have gone through what this woman has gone through, you know, this is a really important story to tell. And Vanessa Kirby was excellent. You know, I think she could definitely win a few awards. You know, if you can stomach, or at least if you could muster up the courage to watch a movie like this and just see what it's like for people that have gone through losing a child. through childbirth. Definitely something I guess I would recommend, but like I said, it was tough, and I just feel like I can't really ever see myself watching it again. The last one up here, My Octopus Teacher. This is actually a documentary, the only documentary on this list, and I love this film. It was very enjoyable, I learned a lot. I didn't know anything about octopus, I would say. And there's the way it's told, there's a lot of great interesting observations. It's about a man who's following and sort of befriends in a way this octopus, and get to see kind of the full life cycle of what it goes through and what this man goes through as he just goes on this journey and this transition in his life. I really like the way they interwove footage of him underwater as well as the interviews. Yeah, very informational, very interesting. If you know people that are into marine biology or, you know, just love octopus, this is definitely a film that I would recommend. I did not expect to like it that much, but it was a really good film. Alright guys, that's all the movies I watched in January this year. I'm very curious to know what you've seen, if there's anything on my list that you have watched and you want to talk about in the comments. I'd also love to hear any recommendations you have for things that you've watched in the past month. I hope you guys are enjoying this new format. I know it's a little different than I've done in the past, but I just like being able to express myself with less editing and more just natural conversation, so I hope you're enjoying it. As always, my name is Dylan, and if you love entertainment, subscribe to my channel while this video ends and send me a thumbs up before you go. Thanks for watching, and stay diligent.